What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is the Roaming Prepper. I'm your host, Pete. And today we're going to do a short video about what happened recently on the Golden Gate Bridge and what you should be thinking about as people become inflamed. They just get passionate, regardless of what side you are on in Russia, Ukraine, or Israel, Gaza. I have friends who are pro Palestinian and pro Russian. I have friends who are pro Israel and pro Ukraine. I have some friends who are Russian Jews, so they're pro Israel and pro Russia. Like you're going to get all mix of people. Um, they're going to protest, which is all right. They're going to go out and speak their minds. But when people are inflamed, especially when it comes to ethnic, religious, or family type stuff, they tend to lose their temper. And this is where things get hairy. So I want to share this picture with you from the, bear with me just a second. Yeah, there it is. So, Bay Area commute nightmares. Protesters block Golden Gate Bridge, 880 in Oakland. This is from San Francisco Gate, the local newspaper. And you notice there, this is a pro-Palestinian protest, anti-Israel, if you will. They're organized, covering their faces, which is silly. It's not that cold, but um, they are organized, they're staying in their lane. They just snarled up traffic like nobody's business. Look at that. That's an absolute pain in the butt. Now, the protesters, in and of themselves, may or may not be a problem. What scares me is when you have gatherings like this, where you have a bunch of pro whatever, anti whatever gathering, and they block up traffic and you get stuck there. You now have a large mass of people all stopped in a place that normally is not meant for a large mass of people to be, specifically in a roadway. Roadways are meant for vehicles to go through and deliver product or people, not for them to be stuck there. Now, granted, we have that for rush hour every day in a lot of big cities, but if you know there's a protest, right, and it's scheduled, they have their permits because the cops weren't running them off, so clearly they probably had permits. They block up traffic. That's a hell of a soft target. And that, my friends, bothers me because you only need one asshole, and he doesn't even have to be a good terrorist. He could have an ID, he could have a gun, he could just decide to drive his vehicle into a crowd. But you now have a critical mass of humanity such that it may attract problems. So, what do we do about this? Where's the preparedness community when we want to get around stuff like this? It's pretty straightforward in my book. One, when you're making a trip, even if you're just commuting, before you leave your office in the afternoon or when you leave home in the morning, check the local news to see if there's a protest schedule. Normally they should be, or if it's expected, even if it doesn't have a permit, and also check the traffic. Is there construction? Are there delays? If you see a big delay in red on your traffic map, go look at the news, call the office, try to find out what's happening. Is it construction? Was it weather? Was it an accident? Or is there a protest? If you know in advance something is going to be obstructing your path, you can then plot another path to either get to work or to get home. Two, have a get home bag, because if something gets hairy, say there's a terror attack and you're not affected, but now you're stuck on a highway overpass, you may have to lock your car, pull it into the shoulder, abandon it, grab your crap, and start walking. Um, so you need to be ready to deal with that. Again, I did that video before. If you're in downtown Manhattan and you have to walk to Queens, that's a 4 to 6 hour walk, but it's only 1 hour on a bike. Um, Downtown Houston to the outskirts of Houston, like Katy, it's 7 or 8 hours. That's insane. So you got to plan for your city, for your area. Again, you live out in the country, it's not so complicated, but you live in a city, smaller city like Pittsburgh, you probably don't have to go as far, but you do have to cross over certain rivers if you're trying to get to like Carmichael's or something like that. So you have to factor in if the bridge gets shut down. Again, have a get home bag. Check your routes before and after leaving work, especially if things are a bit tense. Get to know what's expected in your area. Be prepared to get on foot, which means if you're wearing business shoes like hard bottom shoes or high heels, Have a pair of sneakers or good hiking boots in case you got to change your footwear. As a matter of fact, a complete change of clothes is a good idea. If you need meds, have those meds handy, even a little bit. When I used to have a regular office that was a distance from home, I had a get home bag in my truck, and I had what I called the oh shit kit in my office. And it was basically a mini get home kit that had a belt loop, and I had an old belt, and I could just put it around my waist and off I'd go. So if I couldn't make it back to my vehicle for whatever reason, um, I at least had some tools to bring with me to make my life a little bit easier. In most cases, you should at least be able to get back to your car in the parking lot, unless something really horrendous goes on. In any case, folks, be ready for this kind of stuff as we get closer to the election, as we get further into the Israel Hamas, now Iran conflict, and the Ukrainian Russia. If things expand, people are going to start getting agitated. Now, I have not even touched on the fact of government sponsored operators. If we get into a direct conflict with another country, Iran, Russia, China, whoever, they likely already have operatives in our country through our southern border, which has largely been unmonitored properly, and they could cause a very focused, concentrated attack somewhere, and that could change the game. But if you have the fundamentals, change of clothes, change of shoes, especially those shoes, extra socks, get home bag or get home kit, maybe some food in the office, you're caught in the office, you're caught in the car, you have some amenities. All it does is give you options and time to think what your next move is. And just having the option of having time to organize yourself could be a huge game changer for you. In any case, that's it for this one. God bless, Godspeed. Pay attention to what's going on in your area so you don't get caught in the traffic like these folks were. Until next time, y'all be safe. I'll see you later.